Hi, I'm Lisa Buxbaum, CEO and founder of Soaringwords. Welcome to the Soaringwords Book Club. Today we're here with two fabulously talented and creative co-authors, Sherry Breeson and Rose Offner. They're the co-authors of Digging Deep, a journal for young people with health challenges. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so Digging Deep, what a fantastic title. What does it mean to dig deep for young people and teens facing health challenges?
It's about taking that time to go inside, self-reflect, and discover that there's answers within that can come out.
It's such a powerful metaphor, digging deep into your creativity, into your wisdom, and into these answers that, as you said, are already inside of each and every one of us. Rose, can you talk a little bit as an artist and an author of what inspired you to create the Digging Deep journal?
Sherry and I attended the National Brain Tumor Association's conference, and we worked with children there, and those children really were the inspiration for the book.
Rose, as a successful author of so many books and journals, can you tell us a little bit about the journaling process? What does it mean to journal and how does it work? Do you have to be a journalist to do a journal?
No, and in fact, so many kids that write and keep journals or have never kept a journal before really love journaling in this style. What makes this style of journal writing different is that you're learning how to ask yourself questions and then how to listen for the answers. You are doing it in a really fun way. Sometimes for kids that don't like to write, they're paired up in groups and one kid asks the question, the other listens, and they write down what is being said.
They scribe for each other.
That's exactly right. And then sometimes everybody will walk away and they'll go to a quiet spot for 15 minutes and they'll write. Hopefully they will want to share what they write, because there's something about sharing what you write and having a witness that's amazingly powerful.
Transformative, right?
Transformative, and that it helps parents, counselors, nurses, doctors to understand what you're going through. And sharing what you write, it helps you to become aware of your thoughts, feelings, and fears, what's going on inside.
That's
the
great.
whole idea is that self-inquiry, learning how to ask yourself the questions, will become a process for the rest of your life. I think that kids and young people, when they hear what other people, their peers are going through, they feel like I'm not all alone.
It's less isolating,
That's right.
And that other people matter, and it's about empathy, right? About empathy and trust.
Exactly.
And hearing somebody else's voice, what you were about to say, even if you haven't had an opportunity to say it, is a way to say, wait, that is how I'm feeling. I didn't know how I was feeling, but now that I've heard it,
That's right.
it actually is similar to what I'm thinking, feeling.
Right. One of the reasons I started Soaringwords was to show patients that there's no shame in talking about illness, that childhood illness is a normal part of our lives, and the more we can talk about it and understand it, then it gives patients a sense of control, and it gives them a sense of hope and courage that they can get through it and deal with the challenges that they're confronting. The purpose of doing these exercises is to write it for yourself, to really be honest with yourself and let those feelings and let that creativity flow.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we created the guide, but the child is the author of the book, the author of their story.
So another co-author.
That's right.
Memoir. Exactly.
So all of you who are watching this video are going to be co-authoring with Sherry and Rose, because no two books will be alike. And that's what it really means to dig deep. It means that inside of each one of us is this wisdom and creativity and just answers to questions that only one person in the whole universe could answer. And that's each one of you who will be enjoying this book. Can you give an example of a child or a teen who had used the journaling experience to have a transformative experience?
There was a young man that I worked with who was in the hospital, and he couldn't write. One hand was incapacitated and his good hand didn't have the strength. And so I asked him if he'd like me to write for him. And he picked out the pages of the book that he wanted to write on. And I was his scribe, and I wrote and wrote and wrote like 6 or 7 journal exercises. He was just smiling from ear to ear when he finished, because he felt that he was getting to tell his stories. They were in a book. He could share them. He was excited to show them to his mom. And in fact, there was an exercise there where you imagine you receive a letter from your parents. He said, instead of imagining that I receive a letter, I think I'd like to invite my mom to write me a letter, because she's sitting in the hospital room all day long and she has nothing to do. And I think she would like that.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It was great. One of the most important things that he does, he says, is every day he smiles. And he said he notices that when he smiles, that other people smile back.
It's contagious.
And that the more he smiles, the better it makes him feel and other people feel. And that's something he said he's been doing it for years, and it really, really helps.
And I think actually just flipping through the pages of Digging Deep before one would start writing and collaging, it makes you smile, because the gorilla and the colors and just every page, it's like takes you to a different part of the world and has a different feeling and a different sensation to it. It's not like a static book. It's a really active, living journey.
It's interactive,
Exactly.
Absolutely. I met this young man, Cameron, just a really great guy. And he's had cancer several times. And he went through and he flipped through the book and he said, I can answer all of these questions. And then he sat down and he wrote and he wrote and he wrote and he shared his story. And one of the questions in the book is about a storm, blessings after a storm. And is there anything good about cancer? And he said, your friends and your family become your support system, and with them you can do anything.
Wow. Sherry, as a child, you were hospitalized for 3 different eye surgeries. Can you share with us some of the recollections you have from this time in your life?
Sure. I was quite young, 3, 5, and 7. And part of this surgery and the recovery was that I had big bandages across my eyes so I could see nothing. So even though my parents were right there by my side to wheel me into the operating room, when I came out, it was total darkness. My eyes were completely covered. And throughout the whole hospital stay, I really had no idea, unless somebody was talking to me, if somebody was there or not there. So there's certainly that fear of being left alone and not being able to see. And then when I was able to get out of the hospital and go to school, did I really want to go? Because I had these therapy glasses on that made me, in my feeling, feel ridiculous. But at the same time, I had a very positive experience when I was in the hospital, and actually look forward to being a frequent returner because of the love and the support that I got from the staff and the volunteers. I mean, I remember one project that they did for me when my eyes were bandaged. We twisted up these wires, and then they helped me create flowers after dipping it into this solution that caused it to be have this cellophane film, which I didn't see. I didn't see what colors I was doing. I didn't see what I was doing. But then the day I got my bandages off, to see these beautiful bouquets that I had created with the help of the volunteers was just, I will never forget that experience, because it was so inspiring that even though I couldn't see, I was still doing something really creative and really fun.
Thank you for sharing some of your childhood experiences with us. I think what you said is so true, that when patients can express their creativity, it gives them such a sense of purpose and control. A couple of decades ago, when you were 24 years old, you were diagnosed with a brain tumor, and for 2 years you had radiation and chemotherapy. And it really speaks to the strength of who you are. You did healing visualizations, and you had such a tremendous exercise regime with swimming and yoga and tennis and all sorts of rigorous exercise to regain your total health. And today you're so healthy and active and a mother of 2 young children. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to you as a survivor of brain cancer to be able to share the Digging Deep journal with children and young people?
I made personal changes in my life that came out of personal self-reflection and growth that helped me live the kind of life that I want to be living and live in my passions and to be true to myself and to express my authentic self. If I could somehow share part of that process and help children to be able to go inside themselves and go through a similar type of a process where they can find their own voice and through that process, make going through the tough times a little bit easier. What I mean is that they can tap in to their own strength and get comfort in the fact of them knowing that they already are coping and that they already have the answers inside.
There's no right order. You don't have to go to one page and then the other page.
That's
just
true.
pick the page that appeals to you the most, or close your eyes and just open to a page and see where you are on that day. And that's the beauty about it. And then by giving voice to your creativity and your thoughts and your fears and your dreams, it's so powerful then to go back and say, wow, like I wrote that, I was thinking that. And it's a reminder of a great conversation you had in the privacy of yourself. Maybe you'd want to share that with your doctors and nurses or your parents or your teachers.
It's true. And I think that the most remarkable thing is that often before the journal entry is finished, a transformation has already happened,
Yes.
that the answer is already there.
Right.
And that's what's so amazing, so that you can already see growth by the time you finish the last sentence. You're feeling better.
Thank you for being the support system for so many patients.